What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Alex here from Team Generations, and today we are back again with another video. Today we are going to be looking at something a little bit different, kind of like a different conversational kind of topic. I know in the past you guys have kind of liked this, and you know, I get a lot of comments on them in general, so I definitely want to bring a little bit more to the channel, just get my thoughts out. But today we're going to be discussing something that was super interesting and really unexpected. I think a lot of people in the community didn't really know this was going to happen, but 50 Cards, obviously you follow him on Twitter, all that stuff. He makes he has a YouTube channel, he's Twitch and all that, so go follow him here. Big shouts out to him for what he did here, him and Deckflares. But they created these budget decks. Deckflares is like another channel too that has been kind of creating a lot of, I think, budget content in general. A lot of kind of like, you know, multiple decks in one video, as opposed to my content where it's just like kind of one deck, you know, go a little bit deeper dive. Very, very good content overall. Awesome guy. Go follow him. I've built a couple of his decks before, and they're super fun to play around with for budget reasons. But this video kind of goes a little bit beyond just this and just the sale, but big shouts out to both of them. There's clearly a demand for this kind of product, and I kind of wanted to dive into Vanguard and some of the other card games, other TCGs, what they're doing for a product that's kind of similar to this, and how Vanguard kind of has like a void in our kind of product lineup in general. So when we're looking at it, these are kind of, let's just dive into one of them, for example. Like Graham Grace over here doesn't really have dedicated support. I think there was, I don't know if there's actually, yeah, there is the deck image over here. So there's a video explaining everything, but when you look at these decks and look at the images for them, they're all mildly competitive for the price. Very, very good. They all have a cohesive strategy. The archetype support works for it. It's just, you know, these are all, I know they're all sold out now, but they were around that $30 price range, somewhere 25, somewhere 30. You could choose to upgrade them with the Over Trigger and the upgraded PGs and whatnot, but very reasonable price for actually like a viable, competitive enough for that price point kind of deck, and something that I believe really Vanguard just doesn't have in general. When you look at other TCGs like we're about to, they have other products at this price range, and I just kind of want to talk about ours that we have first, because I'm gonna get Vanguard out of the way. So when looking at it, we have trial decks and we have start decks. Start decks are a couple dollars. It is what it is. Those cards are meant to kind of get replaced and give you your core kind of budgets, or just your core kind of like grade 3s to go into. I feel like that's ideally what they're really for, and for a couple dollars you can't complain about it. I'm not going to complain. It is what it is. Going beyond that, looking at the trial decks, you know, they're $20 products, and they're almost at the same level as a start deck, where majority, I want to say like 80% of the deck kind of gets swapped out. You're really just using the ride line, maybe some other things, maybe some of the triggers. None of the trial decks right now. I think that includes both the Shaman King, Record of Ragnarok, who are also kind of just wayward strategies, as well as like the Lyrical Monasterio one. I think there's also, which one is it? The Saga one. Like, they don't come with effect triggers, so they're not competitive ready out of the box. And not saying these do come with the triggers, but they're just a little bit more competitive overall. They include staples that really are needed for the strategy. You can go and upgrade them a little bit further if you want to, but these have a very cohesive and playable strategy out of the box for all of these different ones that we see here. And obviously, I don't know how many he had previously kind of made, but there's high demand for it. I saw that there was something about like 200 of these were made or something like that, and they're all pretty much sold out over here with the exception of Poor Bastion. But I personally picked up the Magnolia one. I will be doing an opening kind of video. Maybe I'll get like a game on the channel with that too, so I'm very excited. But overall, I think there's a real need for this product. I think that there definitely is a void, and let's check out some other TCGs, and I'll kind of prove to you like why I believe that and why I think in general. So starting off with the big boy himself, Magic the Gathering. So Magic has a lot of different options. I'm just bringing up Commander, for example. This is a very easy product. They did something with like these start decks over here. They're not very competitive, but they're just very beginner oriented, and they have a complete 100 card deck. You can get the other precons too for anywhere between like the 30 to like, you know, 70 is like a really expensive one, I think, but most of them are hanging, at least on Amazon, around that $30 price range. You can go to your local TCG shop too, and also see these. I see they're always like discounted, the old ones and whatnot. So if you're looking to get into the game, that's like a very easy kind of 1, 2, 3 way to just pick this product up and rock with it. Obviously you have to upgrade it some, but you do have a pretty like decent core, more so than any Vanguard product that is available. They also have different, I don't know what they call them. I think it's like for standard you can pick up like a challenger deck. I think that's in the name of it, and they also have like a Pioneer format one too. But those again are a little bit just more competitive out of the box, and again they're around that $30 price range, if not just a tiny bit little more. So when you compare that to something like Vanguard, who has, if you want to do that in Overdress right now, you're looking at least like a $70 kind of commitment for the Chronojet deck, and you still have to upgrade a lot of things. You have to upgrade triggers, you have to upgrade, you know, what is it, the not the PGs, but just in general, there are some other cards you do have to swap out, whereas that is the case here, but there's a much lower barrier to entry. So if you're getting somebody to like try out the deck and like see if it's okay, I feel like a $30 price range is a little bit more reasonable than like a $70 kind of price range. The other thing too, I don't know if it is, let's check it out over here. This is available like right at my fingertips. Oops, whatever. But let's go see Chronojet Stride deck set. Let's see if it is available on Amazon, because that makes a big difference too. Yeah, so looking at the basic one, there is no Prime kind of offering on this, and it looks like it is $99 if you wanted to buy this through Prime, so it's pretty expensive. Not really in the same ballpark. I'm not saying those Magic decks are perfect out of the box, like I said, but at the same time, they are pretty affordable, and it's more affordable to kind of get somebody A, either into the game with them, or B, kind of into that archetype or into that, well, just so much easier to say, hey, go spend $30 to try this out. So that is kind of the variance there. And then also Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! in the past has been known as this like crazy expensive game, and yeah, it still is, don't get me wrong, like, but there's other options you can play now, and I see a trend with the last couple structure decks. You can pretty much buy 3 of these and have like a very solid core. There's actual usable reprints in terms of the staples. If you collect a couple of these, you know, you can have pretty much all the hand traps now, at least most of them. A lot of decent cards are actually reprinted in these as of late. So Trap Tricks, for example, you buy 3 of these, you really do have the core 100% almost in your hands. There's a couple cards you can upgrade them with, but there are kind of just like flavor cards at that point. And yeah, for a minimal investment, for a little bit more, again, we're talking around that $30-$40 price range instead of just a $70 commit, hard commit right off the bat, which is a lot easier to sell in general. Same thing with the Albaz Strike. All that stuff got reprinted too that you need to put into the deck. From what I understand, I don't really play Yu-Gi-Oh, but it is a lot more affordable. And again, too, you can find these on Amazon or TCG Player for very, very affordable prices. So a little bit easier in terms of access. Next up too, again, just going back to Magic. If you're going to talk about, like, you know, products coming from the company not being adequate, all right, like, we have to go and find alternatives like 50 Cards just did. So Card Kingdom does this. They have these battle decks where they're not really, I don't think, a specific format or anything like that, but they're like 60 card decks. They're like $11, $12, whatever it is. They're like completely ready to play out of the box. If you're trying to start, maybe you're trying to get into a new archetype or just buff up, I guess, your commander deck or whatever, this is a very low cost to entry over here, again, for a very like solid product. And I'm not saying that, you know, 50 cards is too expensive or anything like that, but you have a lot of budget options for this, and I think that, again, if you wanted to, you know, buy 2 of these, you're almost at that $30 price range, a little bit under. With shipping, it's probably there, but it's much easier to kind of pick these up, bite the bullet on that, than that $70 product. And again, I'm just trying to go back to the fact that, like, 50 has sold out of all of these, so there clearly is like a need for this kind of product, or a desire, or a want. Also, they do have rookie decks too, same kind of deal, just 5 very, very simple ones, but you get my point. There are alternatives in their market for non, I guess, company sealed product, where they do have like an entry level products for them. And again, $40 for all 5 of these. You and your friends want to get together, play a little bit tabletop Magic, it is what it is. Next up here too, I did want to, I'm gonna go into this one. I wanted to compare it to other Japanese ones too, aside from Yu-Gi-Oh! I know Digimon and Vanguard are kind of compared a little bit. There's some crossover between the players, and I don't know the viability of this deck. I really don't play Digimon, but you are able to pick up for $60. I know it's around the same price, but there's 2 decks in here, from what I understand. There are actually 2 different decks, if I'm not, correct me if I am wrong, but it kind of looks that way. It's the way it's kind of being like broadcasted to me. And on top of that, it's like easy, it's at Target, I can go pick it up, it's a little bit easier in general. Vanguard is charging you $60 plus retail, whatever. It comes up to 70, comes up to 80. You just saw on Amazon it was $100 for that deck set. So if, you know, your parents are looking to buy, you know, a kid kind of a product, what are they going to do? They're going to look on Amazon, they're going to find it, see it's $100, they're going to be turned off. Whereas I can get 2 decks, maybe pick it up, play it with my kid or whoever it is, play it with their friends, you know, for $60 here. That's a little bit more alluring overall, so there might be a better value. I don't know the competitiveness of this deck, and I'm not saying the Chronojet set is bad, it's just a little bit more expensive, and I think that we're not hitting, or the company Bushiroad is not hitting their sweet spot in that $30 to $40 kind of price range for something a little bit more competitively viable, and but still not at like a tier 1 blowing out the meta like Chronojet kind of does. Lastly, over here, another really big hitter, and again, I found this directly on the Pokemon site. I've heard really good things. I don't know if this is still competitive, but when this did come out, the Calyrex decks, you have both the Shadow and the Ghost type and the Ice type one. I heard that these were the first like level 3 decks. I'm not sure if that's the case really. Again, I don't really play Pokemon, but again, you have another competitive kind of deck for that $30 price range, and I heard this was actually good. Obviously, I'm sure you have to upgrade a few cards in here, but you know, for that minimal upgrade, if my total spend is around that $70, the product that I picked up to try to play the game, learn the game, is actually letting me kind of like hang out, maybe not beat the meta decks, but hang out around that kind of price range, or just kind of that competitive level. That's okay for me. I spent $30, I have to upgrade it a little bit more, and I can have an actual competitive deck that is completely fine. So I think that this is like the perfect kind of price range. I think that 50 did an amazing job really pricing these out, just giving us what we need. Again, cohesive strategies, and it is Vanguard. You could actually play almost any decks. I'm not gonna say any decks, but most decks, you know, and you could have a little bit of luck. You know, triggers are involved in the game. I'm not saying skilled players aren't, you know, gonna win every single time, but at the same time, it is Vanguard, so I feel like that's part of the allure, just being a little bit lucky sometimes. And I think that $30 price range really is just the best kind of way to kind of be. So I think that's where I'm kind of going with this video. I think Vanguard is lacking that like $30 to $40 price range kind of product that can give us something competitive while not breaking the bank. And I know that we still probably have to upgrade it, which is fine. So overall, again, just shouts out to 50, shouts out to Deckflare for doing this. This is like amazing. Go check out the sale if this video is posted by that time. But I think it really raises a question in the community. Is there kind of a void? Are the products introductory products for newer players or players who want to maybe branch outside of their kind of comfort zone in terms of clans? Is there any product available for them with that? And I get it, our game is smaller in a way, but if you want to compete, if you want to grow, if you want to become a little bit bigger, I feel like this $30 to $40 price range kind of product has to be answered and just fulfilled in general, because you can debate all you want about the premium deck set coming out with the Harry and Nightros. $130 is just, it might be technically worth it, but the product is not about being worth it. The product is about A, introducing new players, or B, getting players to explore different formats, or C, just getting players who already play that format into the game, or into that kind of deck, into that kind of archetype. And for that price, you still have to go and buy cards to upgrade those decks. They're not complete. Obviously I've seen the deck lists. You could function with the deck, don't get me wrong, but to play the most optimal version of it, they're not complete. So that's kind of just a big slap in the face, and I really don't like that product overall. I think that it definitely could be better now that I've really kind of thought about it, now that I've kind of seen what is available in general. So let me know your thoughts down below. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in and really sticking with me. We're over 1,500 subs now, so if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you everybody who has done so already. Thank you so much. We also do have a TCG player affiliate link down in the description below. You can shop through that link, absolutely no cost to you. Help support the channel, purchase any of the cards that you see here today or any of them on the screen. And obviously I'm not affiliated with 50 cards, by the way, too, so go use any. I know Commander Jaime has a code. I know I feel like every YouTuber has a code for me, so go use anybody's code and you save a little bit on this too. So thank you guys so much. It's Alex from Team Generation signing out.